Okay, we return from the recess for the June 6, 2016 town meeting. We're in the process of discussing an item related to potential donations for the town. And we turn now to Mr. Tabler.
Sure.
Okay.
When I looked at the general ledger for the past couple years, I found that items such as monies we put towards the fireworks would be under the 6901 account, special events, program costs. Those are not, items like in the donations, we made a donation for Community Day would be in that, but that's how it's been kind of distinguished when I looked at the general ledger the last few years.
Okay, so the number that we're looking at this point in time is $1,000 in that account, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so moving from there, Mr. Sweeney.
One thing
sorry,
also
I'm
to
sorry.
add, there's, within these different accounts, there's no specific, there's no specific allocation to specific checks that we write from the town. It's just a budget, an estimate of what we want to put there during the coming fiscal year.
Should there be a need, right?
Should there be a need, and also if that, if there's certain things that want to be designated, then the mayor would request that, to have that go through that account during the coming budget year.
Okay. Great, I think we're on stable
So
ground.
Are you saying that there's no excess of money sitting there that you know of?
No, I mean, that's, the account is there for items during the coming fiscal year.
How much money is left in it now?
Let's see, which particular account?
All three.
All three or
What
all
three
two?
accounts?
There's a donation special. I know how much is in the fire and rescue, 6,000. Don't worry about that one. The other two.
6901 and 6902.
6901. Let's see, 69.
And that's on page 15, that's where we were, the bottom two items.
Correct.
Okay.
The,
If that helps you or not.
Page 15.
let me see. For this fiscal year, under donations, we haven't spent any money as of yet, but many times I know we do by year end, those type of things. And under special event program costs, let me see. So far, we've spent about $1,500 this year.
Does that mean you subtract 1,500 from 72 from fiscal year 16?
That'd be correct.
There will be upcoming costs related to the farmer's market, which comes out of 6901 that have not been spent yet because the farmer's market kicks off in 2 weeks.
Soon, yeah.
So there are some additional costs that will be coming out of there shortly.
The donation money's still sitting there, but the donation money you say is for Community Day. Is that what you said?
In the past, we have spent money in
Okay.
that category for
It's-
Community Day.
It's basically what happens is the money gets set aside for the purpose of donations, and then the request is brought to us, and
Right.
we designate yay and
Right.
nay.
It's not the same every
Correct. Yeah,
year,
yeah.
year after year after year.
So it sounds to me like are we looking to take 500 then from line number 6901, move it into 6902? Without jeopardizing anything, correct?
I think so.
I believe that's what Mr. Sweeney's after, is that correct, Mr. Sweeney?
And that's what I'm suggesting for the new budget for next year.
And
Okay,
it
okay.
sounds like if we do that, there'd still be enough in there for farmer's market, et cetera, and we wouldn't really be slighting anything else.
I'd agree with that,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so we have enough of a buffer for community, for the farmer's market, sorry.
Yeah.
Remaining in there, okay, very
Correct.
good, all right.
You might just want to be aware of, I'm not saying you can't do it.
Okay,
like you
sure.
said, but you've already reduced that category by $1,000 in the new budget.
Well, the proposal has, we have not. But
Well,
nevertheless,
you're pretty close.
yeah, nevertheless, Mr. Mayor. So we come back to the issue. Mr. Sweeney, I have a question for you. I know that I'm on page 15, I see that you're on page
8.
8. We're both looking at accounts related to 6901 and 02. They're both designated fairly similarly as special events program costs and donations. So
Which one's right? I don't have 15. That's
we're
why I
looking
was
in two different departments. I guess that's what I'm trying to say simply.
I know, I mean, I was looking at 8 because I had that in it too, but I can't find my 15.
All right. Can I donate mine to your
No.
purpose? Is that all right, or?
Cliff? Look at mine, right here,
I know, but, yeah,
parks.
that's 15 says, but see, 8 says totally different.
But that's a different department.
Legislative and
That's the
executive.
Legislative and executive, we're on the parks, we're in the parks right now.
Yeah, but the line items is still the same number.
But that's just the category for funding.
It's 10-6901, 6902. This is probably 60-6901, 6902. They're the same category, they're just in different accounts.
That's how it's how the budgeting has been arranged, the accounting is arranged. I agree. There's confusion
it?
there.
Yes,
Okay.
I understand
so-
now. I was looking at the one and you guys had higher numbers than I was looking at, so.
Right, right, well, this is where you need to be.
Okay. And he said they're subtracting 1,000?
Take,
Yeah, it's
keep this in
$1,000
here,
cheaper.
and then take 500 out of here and put it in here.
Another question is, if it was budgeted for this amount, then you have $1,200 extra always still there.
That was last year's.
Yeah, you didn't use it. The 6901 for fiscal year FY16 budget for last year says $7,200. Is that correct?
Yes,
For parks, yes. Excuse me.
And according to him, we used $1,500 of it this year. Is that what the checks is just written out?
That's correct.
So that'll be 40,
57.
57?
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you take his new donation?
57.
and then.
Yes, he was counting the new donation.
$1,500 he just got.
Yeah, he was saying that's where the $1,500 came from.
No,
That's the only check you wrote?
That's separate from, we haven't wrote that check.
Yes, we have.
Yes, you have.
Okay.
You wrote 2 of them.
500 from last year's budget out of 6902 to cover up to make up for what we only gave 500 last fiscal year. And then we took 1,000 from this current fiscal year. Make sense?
So from 2014, we pulled 500, and 2015, from 2015 and 2016?
2016, we
Okay.
spent the 500 to make it 1,000.
Okay.
Last year's community day. The 1,000 for this year's fiscal year 17 budget that check's already been written for this year's community for the fireworks.
But which budget year it come out? Have to come out
It would have to come out of 16, not
Came out of
17.
16.
We don't have a 17 budget yet. It's
Right,
coming out of
there is no
16, so,
17 budget yet.
okay,
So I've got my 15 and 16.
okay.
How'd you write one out, 15? If it was gone, it was closed. Can't be. Once that budget closes, it rolls into 16.
Okay, so it rolled over to 16, so,
Dude, that budget's dead.
so they were both pulled from 2016.
Right,
That sounds,
that's where he really.
Which leaves 57. So that's enough for the farm market. We just
Correct.
want to make sure we're not taking anything from.
I don't think
Yeah.
I think we'll be fine there.
okay, Mr. Sweeney, do you have
And
that?
this year, and then the mayor proposes to make it only 6,200, so with 5,700 still left in there, we only had to put the $500 in there to make the $6,200 that we need for the next year's budget. Is that correct?
Correct, and we should be able to cover the expenses if that's done.
Because
For
it
the
carries
coming-
over.
That work, Dave? So it does work? You might have others that are coming up short, so you don't know it's gonna go right there.
Right, I just seeing that, I mean, that's how I was looking at
That's
it.
just not true.
Okay. I mean, that's how it seemed on there, but I'm not accountant, so I don't do that. Alrighty,
So, Mr. Sweeney, do you
I'm
want
fine.
to
Yeah.
make a proposal to get $500? Is that what you're
I
seeking,
didn't-
or
I didn't make, I think Mr. Ritz already made the proposal, didn't he?
not formally? We've discussed it, but we haven't had a motion to modify the budget in any way related to this yet.
I make a motion to move $500 from the 6901 to 6902 for $500. Take $500 out of that line item, put it in the other one for the physical year FY17 budget of $1,500 instead of 1,000.
Okay, to clarify, in the parks budget, is that correct?
Correct, in the parks budget.
Terrific, okay. The motion's been made by Commissioner Sweeney. Is there a second for the motion as presented?
I'll second.
Very good, thank you. The motion's been made, the motion's been seconded by Commissioner Mellor. Is there any further discussion for this item?
No, I'm good.
Okay, hearing none, all in favor of the proposal, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone against? Okay, the motion carries 5-0. Very good, thank you. Okay, a modest adjustment. All right, moving forward, Mr. Taylor, is there anything that you have other concerns from the board, or are there any budget items that we want to see modified otherwise?
I don't have anything to modify, I just have a general question.
Sure, okay.
There's talk in the past, while I've been here in different meetings regarding discretionary funds. Where do you find those?
Any excess from your general fund goes to your capital projects fund on a year-to-year basis.
But you mean like
Theoretically,
individually, like for
everything's
the board or for the
discretionary.
mayor or something akin to
Yeah,
that, or-
like the yeah. I've heard the term the mayor's. It's at the mayor's discretion. Or the mayor's discretionary funds. So where does that fall under?
Okay,
That, from what you say there, Department 10 is the legislative.
Yes.
Anything that the mayor would initiate outside of the other departments would be in Department 10.
So it's using money from
He
department.
does get a discretionary fund, it's usually about $2,000.
Okay, but that's actually not in the.
It's in there, I don't know if he's showing this line, but it is, and it's budgeted.
It's like a little bit here, a little bit, all these different
No,
departments.
he has one that
Okay.
is absolutely to his discretion.
I just remember hearing that term, and I was looking through, and I didn't see it.
okay, sure.
Okay.
Well, what you see here, there's about 20 lines for every line you see here.
Okay.
Our budget's several hundred lines. Several lines make up each line.
These are the accounts with multiple sub-accounts. Okay.
Kathy, that'd be under
Bunches of
special
them.
programs, special events. Yeah. Commissioner Ritz, I think in the past, that kind of terminology was used with account 6901 in Department 10.
Yeah, special event.
Special events or program costs?
Correct.
I
Okay,
dreaded 6901 again.
yes.
Okay.
It's a very flexible account evidently, huh?
Well, you'll have the same line number in a number of accounts, but that account really is 60-6901.
Okay.
And in another place, it'll be 10-.
Well, here, like this
right.
for the mayor. Yeah. All right.
And there are several lines that make that line up.
Or the board, I guess, too. We fall under there too, don't we?
Okay,
So that answered my question.
That
Thank you.
help?
That was great. Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome.
any other questions? No? Okay. Mr. Mayor, there was a question related to setting aside funds related to the square for future funding. Do you feel you have sufficient funds for that? Mr. Haller, did you want to say something? I'm sorry, I missed something.
Well, I mentioned to both Mr. Sweeney and the mayor that once you're done here and we approve it, we'll run that and check it out, and then you can do budget transfers. Once you got your solid budget, and you take it from another CIP project.
Okay,
You're not gonna take it from general fund.
Correct.
It's not there.
right.
But you could do kinda like what Mr. Sweeney was suggesting, but in a discussion, he kind of agreed that it might be premature to do the one for the
Right.
water line.
For the West Loop.
But you could take, say you've got another CIP project that you don't think is gonna come online as quickly as the square, and the mayor can make a presentation to you at any meeting requesting your consideration to take some money from another one and put it into that.
Okay, all right, so,
That's not mandatory due tonight.
so we're not obligated this evening to get that squared away,
You will
okay.
have to go by this board to move that money.
Correct, okay, all right. Therefore, with no with a question, yes, Commissioner
Typo
Miller?
on page 6,
Page 6, okay.
4,500 is revenues, missing the E.
Page 6.
I think that was the second one. Is it missing on-
Excuse me, where are we?
It's in
Page
this,
6,
Oh, perhaps it's up-
revenue,
this is the one that was on the table,
Oh.
is the latest, I think. Yes?
On page 6 with the
Revenue.
revenues for the general funds?
Yeah, 4,500, there's an E missing. Is that not missing on your copy?
It is missing on my copy also.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Mistakenly.
okay.
Yeah.
Commissioner Miller, are you,
Well, I guess you could still pronounce that revenue,
you're,
but I agree that.
you're delving into O'Donnell Blanchard territory, but that's okay.
Please
Yeah,
put-
I-
please put the E's
I,
on it.
I,
Thank
I
you.
was going to say something, but I refrained from it.
Yes, yes, okay. All right, any other items along these lines or others? No, Mr. Blanchard, nothing? No, very good, okay. All right, so, Mr. Haller, if I understand our procedure, we've reviewed the budget. Do we have any other items that we need further review of? Mr. Haller, anything that you're aware of?
Not
Okay,
that I'm aware of. The-
Okay.
The things that were mentioned about maybe making minor adjustments or adjustments to CIP funding, it's already in here. You can do it at any time during the year. I would suggest, if you feel comfortable, that we go ahead and get a solid budget. Mr. Tabor then can run that this week. You got a budget, and we're good to go.
okay, and Mr. Haller, just for absolute clarification, when you say we have a solid budget, so we can vote tonight to accept the budget as presented with modifications, correct?
Exactly.
And that would put forward the
And they're
budget,
very minor. I mean, you look
Sure.
at a $1.5 million plus budget, and
Maybe
what we moved
$500.
Maybe $2,000, $3,000.
Maybe $500.
I think that's pretty solid.
okay?
And just to reiterate, the tax rate where it was not increased, correct?
It would be the same rates as the prior year.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
The real estate tax rate would be still at the same rate.
And we have to set that tonight too also? No.
Sorry.
No, we've already,
Oh, did we already do that?
Part of
Okay.
this. And since you didn't raise it, you weren't required to
Advertise.
advertise, and actually, your tax base slipped a little bit, but we've made it work. But at some point in the future,
We have to
you're
address
gonna
that.
have to look at that because, you know, a few years back, you actually lowered taxes. When the constant yield was several cents higher than what you had because the tax base had dropped, and it has not come back.
Right.
And so you're running at about 10% less revenue than you would generate before you made that cut.
and Mr. Haller, there was another modification, I believe, the, wasn't there a one-time revenue, one-time, streets compensation that we received? Like, more substantial money that we'd had in the past from the state?
Under the state highway use, we did get notification that we would have a one-time amount of about 71,000 this coming fiscal year.
Okay, so
That's
We
that's
based,
don't have it yet.
correct,
Yeah.
okay.
and that's based on notification from the state.
Pending, right?
Yeah.
I mean, well, pending receipt, but
Right.
it's supposed to be there.
Well,
why it's
we are counting on it in our
In this
CIP.
budget, okay, all right. Okay. Mr. Ritz, anything else?
I'm sorry, I do. I have one question.
No,
It'll be
continue,
quick. And
please.
this is on page 6, and I
Over
should have asked this earlier. I'm just curious. That's all. It's not going to take much time. Page number 6. There are several line items there. Under account or cat. What's the proper term? Miscellaneous revenues 07. A lot of line items. There's a lot of 4502s, rents and concessions. Specifically, the second item up for Up County.
The line is 107?
107, yes. Up County. Is that the building?
Church.
Is that
Sir John.
the church, or is there a little bit? Is there
It's
something
our
else?
building, we rent it to the church.
Is it just the church in there, or is there another tenant?
Just the church.
Okay, I didn't know if there was another organization using that. Okay.
It used to be Up
It
County.
used to be Up County. That's what. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all. Thanks.
Okay.
Great, all right. Okay, so, we find ourselves at an interesting crossroads. We have the opportunity to approve the budget as modified. Mr.
I make a
Sweeney,
motion to accept the FY 2017 Town of Emmitsburg budget as amended.
very good.
I'll second that motion.
The motion has been made by Commissioner Sweeney, it's been seconded by Commissioner Blanchard. Is there any further discussion related to this item? Okay, Mr. Haller,
Yes, sir.
as we look at the twilight of your endeavors as our budget person primary, thank you, sir, for your efforts. Mr.
Thank you.
Tabler and staff,
Been a pleasure to work with.
Thank you.
thank you for your efforts. We look forward to even clearer budgets as we press forward that are even better and more aligned as we can only hope. So, with that having been said, all in favor of the motion as presented, please say aye.
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 Aye. Anybody against? The motion carries 5-0. Very good. Okay. All right, well, as that is our agenda item for tonight, we move forward to setting the agenda for our next meeting, which will be in July. I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull the date up. I'm a little slow on the draw. Okay, July 5. Mr. Briggs.
Okay, thank you very much. For discussion by commissioners, an ordinance relating to sidewalk maintenance in front of homes and businesses. And we're not looking for construction maintenance, we're looking for trash and cigarettes and stuff like that. We have a ordinance here, but it's sluggish. I just want to discuss with you, because we're starting to spend money downtown collecting cigarettes, having a person clean up cigarettes, and we're having a special person down there now, not the person who did it before, but who's going to be doing it for the town, the flower arrangements down there. But she's also doing cleaning up some trash can areas on the weekends, and also cigarette butts in certain businesses and down there. Just want to discuss it. We need, the other ordinance we have is not strong enough. It just says you're sort of responsible for it, but what does that mean to, and I don't know, just to talk about it. We send them a letter and then 2 weeks later they come back with it, or do we have some, get it cleaned up, keep it clean, or there will be a fine.
Okay, all right.
And we'd also like to discuss the demand for the park is so high. We asked for $125 to hold it, and our costs are going up. Is it not time maybe to consider another discussion item for you, that maybe we keep $25 or $30, everybody that uses it down there, just as we're not going to blow anybody out of the water, but more and more the maintenance and the cost of everything is going up. But it's just another discussion item for you on that. And is it time maybe to do something like that?
Okay, so a deposit, but also a fee for upkeep?
Well,
Just
there
the-
is a cost cost, and this
Sure.
is the only place I know, and that's why we get people from Thurmont and stuff come use our park, because we're the only one I know of that's free anymore.
Okay, all right.
And we're not, you know, we want to post $125 to make sure they stay committed to the event. But even when they go through, there's, you know, generally everybody cleans up, but it's just getting the time, you know, we're spending $190,000 on our parks for all kinds of things, and maybe we ought to see if there's a way to just increase the revenue a little bit. But it's all for your discussion.
Okay.
And for you, that's the only two things we
I
have.
think that's a smart one. So-
All right. Okay, any other items? Commissioner Miller?
No.
It's missed.
No? Okay. When does the Parks Committee meet next?
We just met in May, so August,
In August, okay.
but we can.
Would it be
I
possible to
can, I
meet?
can put a feeler out there via email and see if anyone has any opinions about it,
Okay,
if that's okay.
Well, the intention is go to your committee, everybody take a look at it. Maybe
Sure,
it's time
sure.
we get you some hard facts on how many people are using it and
Mm-hmm.
all stuff like that. And thank you. That's,
okay. Any other items?
No.
Okay, so Mr. Mayor, I just want to understand something. As this is, the second one's a Parks item, don't we want the Parks Committee to be part of this?
I don't care
It's a
how we get it.
revenue issue for you. You should ask
Okay.
them what they think, but the decision has to be made.
Sure, okay,
Yeah.
sure. So could we do it this way, that we would have the possibility of a Parks meeting in July, and we could make this an agenda item for August? Would that be amenable to all parties? Okay, and does that seem reasonable to you?
Sure.
Okay, all right. Any other items from staff?
Yeah, I don't have.
Okay, Mr. Sweeney?
Can we put, this for parks too?
Okay,
Dog park discussion on there, cause whether we're gonna have the park or gonna not use it or whatever. We need to decide what we're gonna do with this dog park.
Right, because if you decide you're not going to do it, we can put a request to reallocate that money for
Just
another.
somewhere else in the park.
okay,
And the dog park, I can say the committee met and we discussed that. And what we are trying to do is find the best location for the park. So if anybody has any ideas, we are open to ideas, but we think that we have a place that's gonna work. But we are open to better ideas if anyone should have one.
I attended that meeting. It was a great meeting. A lot of input, everybody looking at sort of from a finding of fact. This is it, not an opinion. We really moved pretty well in that meeting. It's good meeting. Thank you.
okay. So there will be a meeting in July? Is that, I mean, we're gonna try to have a meeting in July
I
for the
can
Parks?
try,
Okay,
yeah,
that'd be great. All
yeah.
right. And we need a 2-week notice, like announcement for something like that? Is that accurate? Or are we obligated for announcements for that sort of a meeting?
I don't think you have to, but
The town meeting.
just to keep from drawing lightning,
Sure,
it's better to let everybody know you're gonna meet and discuss it.
sure, okay, all
You
right.
can put it on the web and things like that.
What, put the location on the web?
Sure, I just, once you determine a day, I'd say put it on the web as
Okay.
per Mr. Haller's
But the
advice.
meeting's coming.
Right,
But
right.
also identify your agenda items as well, just like
Okay.
our meeting, but,
Okay,
and that way you get good feedback.
no problem.
There's one item I'd like to follow up on is new website metrics, like an understanding as to how many hits we're getting, where those hits are occurring, how the use is, sort of an update as to how it's functioning and if we need to modify anything moving forward.
The current website does not have that capability.
Okay,
Terry reached out to a small company that does apps for small websites, and that is an app that we could purchase through them that would track the amount of traffic, what the buzzwords are, how long you sit on the site, when do you come to the site.
right,
So that would be something that she's looking into just to get some ideas. But
okay.
as of right now, we can't do that.
So can we hear about that in our next meeting?
Sure.
If she'd be willing to come forward, or you'd be able to get information from her, because I think that's really useful, because basically, if we're trying to respond to what our community wants and what, businesses might want, we have to have that yardstick available to us, so, Okay.
We
that'd be great.
can't put a Google Analytics tag on the pages and get reports from that?
I'll ask her if she can do that. I don't have that capability, but she might.
Okay,
And we can maybe look at it from that route.
okay,
We are trying to drive traffic to the website. We've got the website on our letterhead. We're trying to get it out on the emails. We're gonna put an insert in the water bill. So we are trying to drive traffic to it,
Great.
anything that we can do. But I'll ask her about the Google Analytics.
Thank you. That's great. All right. So anybody have any concerns about that being an agenda item for discussion for our next meeting? Okay. So as it stands, we have a discussion related to the sidewalk maintenance in front of homes and businesses. We are bumping the park rental fees or park user fees
You're gonna discuss it,
as a discussion item for August.
They're not really being bumped, we don't charge anything.
Okay. Oh, so
Getting
okay. So potentially initiating
fees.
user fees related to the park. Okay, but that will be in August. Okay, we will have a dog park discussion. Is that correct, Mr. Sweeney? You do want to do that in this next meeting? Okay, and we will have a discussion related to metrics related to town website, like identifying use of the web page. Sorry. Okay, that having been said, any other items for the agenda? Okay, hearing none, all right. Is there a motion to, sorry, yes, is there a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda for the July 5th town meeting as presented.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second for the motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you. The motion's been made by Commissioner Ritz, seconded by Commissioner Sweeney. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion as presented, please say aye.
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 Anybody against? We move on. Thank you. Okay, we have one other item for our meeting. Hold on. I will ingloriously pull this. Okay. We have some recycling items here now. Here we go. Okay. Mr. Haller, could you please come forward, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right.
State your name and address. And
Yes, your name and address, sir. All right, very good. For someone who's not a citizen, no, you've been a credit to yourself. All right. Mr. Haller, it is, oh, sorry? Oh, very good, okay. So should I stand? I probably should, all right. So, Mr. Haller, this we present to you with great honor and gratitude. For many years of your service as town manager for the town of Emmitsburg, from August 10th, 1998, before I was born, to June 30th, 2016, the mayor and commissioners express appreciation and wish you well in your retirement, sir. Thank you very much. I give this to you, sir. Congratulations, Dave. This is well deserved.
Thank you.
institutional history is
Right. Mr. Haller, you will remain on town speed dialer for the next 25 years. Do not forget that.
Yes, sir.
We will have to put a collar on you if we need to, or an ankle bracelet. So we will need to retrieve your institutional knowledge at the drop of a hat.
Be hard to find.
Thank you, sir, and that's appreciated. With that in mind, at this time, we will conclude the town meeting very shortly. After a 3-minute recess, we will resume with a closed session. Okay, very good. Town meeting, June 6, 2016, concludes at 9:10 p.m.